one.
I gotta start telling a little bit of my story though, because
Yeah.
all right, number one, my mother wasn't even supposed to be able to have children. She had to
Mm-hmm.
get a vaccine when she was like 20 weeks in utero just for me to survive. Some like
Mm-hmm.
experimental, it wasn't totally experimental by the late 80s, but it's like for people that have her blood type, she had 3 miscarriages before me. And then like she needed the special shot just if the baby even made it to 20 weeks, she needed like the special shot. And I would have to look it up. I forget the name of it. But the point is, a vaccine is the only reason I'm even alive. So I'm like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I also like I'm still gonna question things and use like my rational and
Of
logical
course.
uh
Yeah. And,
faculties to make decisions that I
and
feel are best and healthiest for me.
right.
Um
Absolutely. And
and then, but hold on, I gotta finish too, because
yeah.
there's that's one m- major instance of my life where without Western medicine I wouldn't be here. And then, as you know, in April of 2012, I had an accident where I had my feet run over by a forklift, and
Right.
I had emergency surgery that is pretty much the only reason I can still walk today. So
Look.
although I'm 1,000% with you when it comes to daily, like, you know, what you eat is your
Absolutely.
medicine, food, let
Right.
food be your medicine, breathing practices, cold showers, this sort of holistic lifestyle. I'm all for that on the day to day. But
Yeah.
I do think Western medicine has its place in emergency situations. I think
Right.
it's unparalleled to other naturopathic and allopathic kind of holistic type of stuff when it comes to an emergency like having your feet run over by a forklift, or
Absolutely. And
a
I've always said
situation,
that.
right, or a situation
Yep.
where you've got like a baby fetus that needs an injection of some sort to survive. Those are two examples that are personal to me that I can think of. I know that there's others out there. I'm just saying from personal
Of
experience, I want to
course.
just let everybody know I'm not like completely holistic, 100% anti-Western medicine. I think it has its place, but
It sure does. It does.
but
You
but
can't tell
but
me
it
that
needs
getting
to
your
be
arm
people,
charged.
but it need to be people over profits, man. And and
Yeah,
and that's the
exactly.
problem
And
with
that's not
Western
and
medicine
that
is it's profits over people.
exactly. And and maybe I need to reiterate that too. Obviously, if your arm gets cut off by a chainsaw, you need to go to the emergency room and they need to do what they do.
Right.
Okay. Like I
Now, when it comes
totally
to
understand that.
viruses and
We're,
sicknesses and that's where I agree
we
with
have
you,
been
because
lied to.
when
We've been
you
lied to for a
any
long time
anything that
about that
your
kind of stuff.
immune system, if it's not an emergency situation and you can give your immune system
Exactly.
a fighting chance, you don't need vaccines and pharmaceutical pills, and their nature has
I
provided these
find
things.
it,
All pharmaceuticals are made
it
from nature and patented. That's the point, is if you can patent it, then you can make a profit off of it. But if it's natural,
absolutely
and that's where I really do have a problem with Western medicine and Western medicinal practices.
big
But
time,
I also, this is the balancing act, so I
big
got to
time.
play devil's advocate and say, well, it has its
Of
place,
course,
you know. So
of
I want you
course.
now. I want you to go ahead
But I
and,
don't think
keep
that's
saying what
really.
you're going to say.
No,
Keep
no, no. I just was going to say I don't. I don't even think that's really. Look, it has its place, like you said, you know. But we're talking about the maintenance of health, and we're talking about how do you evolve your baseline of health,
Well, see, and when I
and
was growing
and
up, Western medicine didn't deny the existence of an immune system either. Like that seems really new.
see, these are the things that I have issues with.
Right.
Is when something like this comes up, COVID, whatever. What's the first thing we're talking about? We're not talking about ways of preventing it, the right way of
Changing your
preventing it.
diet,
We're not talking
exercise, certain
about
exercises that can improve your
yes,
respiratory
we're
system, breathing practices, cold showers.
exactly.
None of that's talked
We
about in
don't
the
talk
news.
about any of that.
The news doesn't talk about it
None.
for sure.
And
It's
and
just get the
then
vaccine. It's safe and effective. Scientists say,
look who it's coming from. It's
yeah,
coming from the same people who have funded by McDonald's and Coca-Cola.
Literally the
homeboys.
largest criminals in the history of the United States. They've paid the largest criminal fine in the history, Pfizer specifically.
And that's who I'm listening to what I need to do to
Well, that's who
protect
media. The
myself.
media is funded by them as well. Oh, but you know what? We'll give you
Exactly.
free Krispy Kreme donuts for 2 weeks if you get your
And you know what?
Fauci
If you're a
ouchie.
kid, we'll give you AirPods and Best Buy gift cards, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro. It's a mock. They start
$100 cash.
That's where I get. That's where I start to get like this because it's a mockery. First of all, second of all, we, especially somebody like you studied the elders, man. You studied the elders even more than me. You know, of Chinese medicine, a lot of other stuff that you talked about, that you read and studied and understand culture. And I know you've come across a lot of the same stuff that I've come across. It's like these are things that have been practiced and done for centuries, you know, and they've never stopped working. We've so lost our way though, and we get caught up in what the criminal organizations are telling us and feeding us. And that's my problem. My problem is not with Western medicine doing what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it. And it's a tool, it's a place, it's a resource for helping in emergency situations. Absolutely. But we're talking about, we're not talking, you know, it's not always emergencies, you know, and we need to, you know, first, there's a few things that I'm really focused on right now. Understanding money and understanding health more, understanding health more. Cause I feel like I know a little something, but you can never stop learning, you know, and there's so much more to learn, especially in a world where there's so much shit out here, man, you know, so much.
You go back and listen to that episode with Allison again. I go back and listen to it just because she's just so much far knowledge beyond
us. Yes.
and listening to her talk with somebody who like Sire G, who already is on her level in some ways.
Right.
That shit is mind-boggling, and it's a little unsettling, really.
It is. You know, what she was saying about crypto, man, was me. You know what I found myself saying when she was talking about that, and some of the other stuff that I've obviously in our world, G, we run across all sorts, you know.
Yeah, a lot of it's conflicting. Yeah. And then
a lot of it's
there's a lot of infighting in the that's one of the reasons I hopped off social media for a while too, man, is like the one thing that the legacy media, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, the sheep, whatever you want to call these people, non-player characters, zombies, there's so many names for them, right?
Ready Player One talks about that.
Yeah. The one advantage they have over us is they don't have the infighting.
No, you're so right. They're all on the same page because they're being fed the same message and they all agree to that same one message.
Right.
They do have that advantage, G. They do. But but let me say this though. A lot of the infighting that you see, especially on Twitter, because you know that's my place.
I can't speak to you think that's their bots and stuff? Yeah. No, it definitely is, but sometimes it's not.
No. Of course, sometimes it's not, but I can promise you it is a hefty amount of fake ass woke pages out here, bro.
Oh, no doubt.
And it's
Ben Stewart did an episode on that. He did a Waking Infinity episode. I forget which exactly one it is, but go back on his Waking Infinity. There's I think it's episode 42. It's the fake news one. And he talks about, there's an interview with this lady from Cambridge Analytica, I think, and she's talking about, you know, they would literally farm. One of their products was selling a bot farm to companies, and then whatever message that company wanted, they would just farm bots out there and put that message out. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
You know who did it? You know one of the folks who did it?
What's that?
The Washington football team. when
Oh,
they were
yeah?
trying to change the narrative on all the stuff that was coming out last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they started making all of these changes, and they wanted everybody to kind of, hey, see what we're doing now.